Starting off with Empire. Empire was really good this week. This episode was all about Hakeem and him being like the new CEO of Empire and taking over Empire, and watching the brothers and how they deal with everything that life is throwing at them at this point. So, Hakeem, he is just like, he does a performance, which I was really happy to see that because we generally just see Jamal performing. So, Hakeem performs, and at the end of it, he reveals the new Empire logo, which is his face. So that was kind of like a shocker, only because you didn't expect it. And then when the episode, like the intro came on, it was Hakeem's face. So, whatever the case, he's trying to get used to that. At the same time, he's back with his little girlfriend, and Camille wants to get rid of her, but he's like, she's important to Empire and all this, and that. So they decide to have her open up for Tiana so that Tiana can go on tour. Meanwhile, Camilla, she is just being very difficult. I guess if you have to spend over a certain amount of money on an artist, then it has to go to the board to approve it. Well, she is the board. And so, of course, she's just going to not approve anything, especially coming from Cookie, since Cookie is now working in the company. Okay, now let's get to Jamal. Jamal, of course, is receiving a lot of backlash at this point because of his relationship with Sky. And then he's supposed to just like guys, but then he hooked up with a girl. So there's a lot of like people that are upset with him about that. So at this point, he feels like his dad is sending people to attack him because he goes outside and it's some type of like interviewer who's asking him a question. And then all of a sudden, all of these people come out of nowhere talking about flip, flop, flip, flippity, flop, hey, flip. So it was kind of like, that's not even his song. Like, Drip Drop is Hakeem's song. But whatever the case, you kind of understood like where they were coming from. Well, you didn't understand it, but you know the point that they were trying to make. Hakeem is very frustrated at this point because he's like, I am not the poster child for like um just like he didn't want to be known as like being a gay artist. He just wanted to be an artist, and he really just wants to do whatever he wants to do, and he doesn't understand why people have such a huge issue with this. And then Cookie is telling him things like, you need to basically get your gay thing on and get all the gay people back, but he's like, I didn't sign up for this to be like a role model. Just let me do my music. It shouldn't be about who I want to be with. But that kind of is that world. We live in a world of social media now. So back in like years and years and years ago, before social media, artists could live their life however. But now they are living their life in front of the camera, whether they're on a reality TV show or not. If you're pictured with somebody or there's rumors, the public is going to get into your business, into your relationship, and that will determine whether they want to listen to your music or not. Sad, but true. Okay, so let's move on to Andre, my favorite brother. And I say this is my favorite brother because Andre, I really have a soft spot for him. Of course, he just lost his baby and his wife is trying to deal with it. He's still kind of trying to like find himself, and then he's trying to get into church, and he just has so much going on right now. Well, Rhonda, his wife, she says she needs a job. She hears that they now have like a clothing line at Empire, and she wants to get on there. Well, Andre says, I can get you on if you agree to start going to church with me and to do marriage counseling with me and my pastor, which that's his wife. So, and she just went through a traumatic moment in her life as well. So he should have given her the job at Empire regardless of her going to counseling with him. But whatever the case, they decide to go to counseling. At counseling, he's very paranoid and he thinks that she's cheating on him, when really she's not cheating on him. She just wasn't around because she's been talking to like his family, trying to help out with Empire, and she's really worried about his like health because she said that she knows how he gets and his medicine needs to be like recalibrated or whatever the case. Well, his pastor is saying no, he really doesn't need it because he has God in his life now. Now, let me say, I go to church, okay? I believe in God and having a relationship with God. I also am like a certified mental health first aider. So I do understand the importance of medication because sometimes it's just like a chemical imbalance in your body. It has nothing to do with whether you're like, like spiritually sane or not. Like having that spiritual foundation that will help. There are some people, depending on what their mental disorder is, they need medication just to regulate themselves, just to, like, when people are like schizophrenic, like, and they're hearing all these voices, they need medicine. When they're bipolar and they're going to have really high episodes and really low episodes, and they start acting a certain type of way where they're about to reach like some type of psychotic break, they need their medicine and they need it to be taken the right way, whether their dosage needs to be increased or decreased or the number of times they take it. So from that standpoint, I don't think that the pastor is understanding that. At the same time, if you do not have any education in mental health, then you wouldn't realize the importance of some of these things. Or people battling depression. Now, medication is not always the answer, but sometimes medication on top of therapy, on top of, having like a spiritual walk, or on top of having like a connection with your family, whatever the case, all these things play a huge, like, pivotal role in you just like being able to function as you normally would. Whatever the case, that might be a problem. We do kind of see Andre flipping out in this episode, and like I always say, he does so great as far as his acting abilities are incredible to me. So he kind of just starts losing it at one point, and his brothers are feeling sorry for him, and they're like, "Hey, we don't know what to do to help you, but we know how to sing, and so we have a song for you because this is what we've always done for you, and we really hope that this can help." And the song that they sang, I don't remember the name of it, but it was a really good song. I can say that. I do enjoy when Hakeem and Jamal collab with one another. So that was really good. Of course, it's not going to be the answer, but maybe that was just a calming, technique at that moment. Whatever the case, he is telling Rhonda, God is showing him visions, and he thinks that somebody pushed her. She didn't just slip and fall on accident. So, maybe trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together at this point. I still think it's Boo Boo Kitty, but that is the obvious choice. So we shall see. I'm sure Lee Daniels will throw a curveball in there. Some people think that it's actually Andre that did it, but judging off the silhouette of the person, I don't think it's Andre, but we shall see. Okay, and then the other major point of this episode, Hakeem makes a sex tape with Camilla and sends it to Camilla's wife in a hotel, I guess trying to kind of like break them up, because Camilla wants to get her wife's shares of the company so that, Hakeem can fully be CEO and have ownership of it and everything, and they can live happily ever after. This whole time I'm thinking Camilla is just playing Hakeem, but she must actually really love him, because then we see a scene with her at the hotel with her wife, and her wife is drowned in a bathtub because she has given her too many pills or something like that and made it look like a suicide when actually she killed her because she's wiping off her fingerprints. Meanwhile, Lucius comes in and he's recording it, so he has this blackmail footage of her, and then Lucius has a gun and he's threatening to kill her. At this point, Camilla is like, just kill me because I can't deal with people finding out that I did this and dealing with her family and this, and that. And then Lucius reveals to Camilla that Hakeem sent Camilla's wife a sex tape and all this, and that. And she was just hurt at this point. So he's like, hey, I could kill you, but it'd be easier if you just went ahead and took the rest of those pills yourself. So she takes the pills. In my mind, I was like, oh, she's gonna throw them up. When he leaves, she's not gonna just die. But I don't see her in the preview for next week. So we shall see what happens with that.